Police telling me that they have been searching all night for this suspect who is considered armed and dangerous.
Fame. What would you give to be famous? Your time? Your morals? Your life? How far would you go? They say fame is addicting. The pursuit of attention corrupts the mind, and the hunger for more is never satisfied. Let me tell you a story about a man who's like this farther than anyone, whose never-ending chase for fame drove him beyond all reason and past the point of insanity, who has shown time and time again that he's willing to do anything for attention, even to the point of hurting others and ruining his own life. This is the story of a man who in 1 year's time went from uploading Minecraft videos to instigating gang violence on the streets of Los Angeles, who in just 1 year's time went from killing players in Minecraft PvP to killing people in real life. And this is only the beginning, because this is the story of a man who's done it all, from taking hostages to faking his own death to even blowing up police cars, all in a never-ending pursuit of fame. This is the story of one of the most interesting people the internet has ever seen, and you've probably never even heard of him.
Police say a man shot multiple people, leading to an overnight manhunt that's still ongoing. Police say they are continuing the search. They're not sharing the exact area at this time.
I'm on the right now doing the dash. I got away from the currency. I shot Missy Hustle. Gaston make money. I shot Missy Hustle. Come get me.
To most people, Minecraft is little more than a peaceful kids game. Some words that may come to mind are calm, relaxing, maybe even educational, but let me introduce you to Gaston McWhinney. Yes, this is his real name, whose time in the Minecraft community revolved more around the words scamming, hacking, and doxing. Now, when I say this is one of the most interesting people the internet has ever seen, he really earns that title. While most Minecraft YouTubers take advantage of the unlimited watch time and monetization that comes with catering your content towards children, Gaston McWhinney had an entirely different approach. You see, back in 2016, the Minecraft scene was a completely different place. Relative to the colorful, kid-friendly mainstream content of today, niche communities such as PvP practice were much more popular. Under the username Zuiy, Gaston became a somewhat well-known player in the PvP community, but for all the wrong reasons. He earned himself a reputation, not for being a skilled player, but as a cheater with an extremely toxic personality.
Just about everyone knew who Zuiy was. At that time, he was originally getting attention from closet cheating and denying it when people would call him out. A lot of the community definitely thought he was a clown for cheating.
He was known as like a cheater and a scammer. He didn't really have the best reputation in the top VP community, to say the least. And he constantly claimed that he was legitimate at the game, and he constantly got exposed for cheating, scamming, among other stuff as well.
A lot of people didn't like that he cheated back then because it was a bigger deal, and they just saw him more of in a bad light because of that. A couple years down the line, I interacted with him in the video where he was just cheating against me, and he just had a very tainted reputation back then, and a lot of people didn't see him in a good light.
Not a soul believed he was legit. I have an unlisted video on my channel where we're fighting in no debuff, and he's literally like 5-blocking me.
Among other things, people began to suspect him of using a hacked client, which is against most server rules and is looked down upon by much of the Minecraft community. In response, he denied everything, uploading videos to YouTube such as "Proof I Don't Cheat," "Proof I'm Legit," along with various others in attempts to prove his innocence. This, however, did very little to dissuade public opinion, and in combination with his often abrasive personality, resulted in altercations with several notable figures in the community. This was the start of a path riddled with controversy that would go on to define his life from this point forward. One of these earlier altercations involved a YouTuber known as iHacklight. Another prominent figure in the community, she publicly called out Gaston for cheating and for good measure uploaded videos beating him in PvP. Back in the day, this was like the ultimate sign of disrespect. Gaston responded to the accusations by attempting to falsely strike these videos in an effort to get them deleted. And although abusing YouTube's broken copyright system was pretty standard practice at the time, something like doxing is a federal crime. And the reason I say that is because the situation quickly escalated when he further threatened to leak iHacklight's full name and home address publicly. Pretty early on, Gaston's real character was revealed. Fame was his top priority, and when his reputation reputation and following were threatened, he demonstrated that he was willing to go to any length to defend it. A couple more petty conflicts later, and another YouTuber known as Tenebris would upload a documentary-length expose of all of Zuiy's exploits, detailing his use of a cheat known as Misplace, as well as conducting a screen share on his computer, uncovering an auto-clicker within all of 3 minutes.
Oh, yep, found it. It's right there. Look at it. It's at the bottom. Very bottom 2 are fucking autoclickers. Because I know what they look like because I have it. I have that autoclicker, and that's how I know what it looks like.
Zuiy responded by blasting copyrighted rap music through his microphone, once again in an attempt to get the video falsely taken down.
With the song, bit,
Unfortunately, despite his efforts, his squeaky clean image began to crumble in the aftermath.
No, you didn't. You have cancer.
Yeah, I actually
That's
do,
fucked
bitch.
up. Cancer! Cancer!
What's up with that cancer, my boy?
He does not understand how to communicate.
Yo, what's up with that cancer, my boy? Don't change my Skype name to I hack me. Yo, and I'm leaking I hack like fucking Skype on my video. Oh, and I'm gonna put her IRL as my Twitter picture. I mean, it's good, you know, you can't call it a girl.
He was soon banned from 2 of the largest servers at the time, Bad Lion and PvP Lounge, for cheating, as well as doxing other players, further cementing his negative reputation.
There he is.
These would be only the first of several altercations between Gaston and various members of the Minecraft community. However, this was a turning point. He discovered that when it comes to growing prominence, the only thing that matters is getting people's attention, and there's nothing the internet loves more than disputes and scandals. Realizing this, he no longer tried to avoid controversy, instead, actively seeking it out. Due to these controversies, Gaston had built notoriety in the community, and despite the negative attention, he had grown a following. And while some viewed him as purely malicious, others found his personality entertaining. Either way, people recognized the name Zuiy and were curious about what he'd do next. He continued his ridiculous antics on YouTube, doing anything he could to draw more attention, such as twerking on stream for $5, pretending to be raided by a SWAT team,
That's so fake.
and even stealing money from his mom.
Give me back the 2 20s and 2 5s you took out of my wallet.
Give you back the money? What you mean?
Oh, Gaston, you took $50 out of my wallet. I had it in the back zipper in front of my ATM card. You took
Hey! What's up?
They don't appear.
Bro,
I'ma start
move.
swinging.
You doing weird stuff.
Watch out,
Okay.
Which is just so cool. He would also embrace his reputation as a cheater, releasing original songs advertising the hack client Vape, and eventually even promoting his own hacked client that he supposedly had made just for his loyal fans. This client, however, was exposed, once again by Tenebris, for being a virus within 24 hours.
Oh boy, guys. Oh boy. Oh boy. Apparently Zuiy, the man, the myth, the legend, he's apparently releasing a OCMC BLC Forge bypass. A private client leaked until you realize that this file is actually a remote access Trojan. It basically gets your usernames and passwords from Chrome and then sends them to some database where some guy just like takes your PayPal money. I'm not even kidding. That is literally what this does. So when you run this, it basically does a few things. It basically accessing the user home desktop and document files, and it basically executes a query, which then gets your username and password and basically prints it to this database. The main problem is the fact that Zuiy is literally releasing this on his channel and he's completely aware of it. And he's doing this basically for money. Like what the like what? What are you doing?
Yes, that's right. He ratted his own fans' computers to steal their money. The only people still on his side. In response, he did not deny anything, electing to instead upload a video threatening Tenebris' life, all but confirming these accusations.
Message to Tenebris. We are coming. We'll make sure each day of your life is lived in fear and caution. We'll make your pathetic life a living hell. We are your greatest nightmare.
This would go on to be only the first of many instances of Gaston scamming his own audience for money. He was documented on several occasions pretending to sell his personal Minecraft account, only to reclaim it afterwards and keep the money.
Basically, Zuiy would use his Minecraft account as like a selling front for his scams. So he'd be like, oh, I'm selling my Zuiy account, my Zuiy Minecraft account, I'm selling it. If you want to buy it from me, you can buy it off me for 50 bucks. One of my friends back in the day in like 2017, 2016 was like, oh, I'm trying to buy this account from you, like how much you want for it? And Zuiy was like, like, oh yeah, send me 50 bucks on PayPal, I'll slide you the account stuff right now. My friend sends the 50 bucks and then he just like completely goes ghost, blocks him on everything. It was kind of crazy. He would do this to so many individuals, it's not even funny.
On top of this, he began promoting his new Minecraft server and selling early access for his subscribers. This of course was revealed to be a blatant cash grab, and his so-called development team was actually paid to DDoS competing servers and steal existing code and plugins, namely from MineHQ. This resulted in Gaston receiving a cease and desist in the mail, and in spite of this, he still attempted to sell the server, stolen plugins and all, then scam his own development team out of their money, threatening to swat them as collateral. This behavior continued for some time until it reached its dramatic climax in 2018, when Gaston eventually caught more heat than he bargained for. He uploaded a video wearing a suit, claiming that his actions over the past few years have been nothing more than a social experiment.
These past few months, my colleagues and I have been doing a social experiment, basically for the whole community. I'm thinking I'm some retard when I'm not. And yeah.
According to Gaston, the real truth was that he was actually a student at Harvard conducting research. He proclaimed that he'd collected enough data and would hereby be returning to his university, marking the end of his time as a clout-chasing troll on YouTube.
I received enough data to take back to my university, complete my experiment. Why I'm collecting this data is confidential, but my experiment is now over.
This, of course, was an obvious lie, and he would return shortly for one final scam. Following his disappearance, and to the dismay of his fans, a post was made on Instagram by his mother stating that her son, Gaston McWhinney, had been shot and killed at a local McDonald's. A truly tragic way to go. She shamed those who had cyberbullied Gaston online and detailed her cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department to find the killer. But more importantly, she linked a fundraiser page for people to donate to his funeral. To the surprise of absolutely no one, Gaston McWhinney was not really dead. Yes, this guy faked his own death to scam his fans, or frankly even relatives that just cared about him, one last time from beyond the grave. But in a way, although he wasn't really dead, this event did mark the death of his promising career as a Minecraft YouTuber, and the birth of his career as a professional rapper. From this point on, Gaston McWhinney would no longer be known as Zuiy. He would instead be known as GBO Gaston. Even back during his days in the Minecraft community, Gaston's passion for music was evident. Apart from his aforementioned hit single Vape Song, he uploaded several other classics such as Vape Song 5, MineHQ diss track, and videos of him freestyling. But Gaston seemed to recognize the potential of his immense musical talent, and following this transition, his music would be the center of his career. This change presented Gaston with a problem, however, as the image he had built from being a Minecraft YouTuber was a stark contrast to the hardened, street-feared rapper persona he now wanted to portray. Desperate to shake this reputation, Gaston deleted all of his Minecraft videos from his YouTube channel, and for reasons unknown, decided to repurpose this existing channel to post his new music under the name GBO Gaston. If I had to take a guess, it was probably to salvage the roughly 10,000 subscribers he'd accumulated from his Minecraft videos in order to jumpstart his numbers in the rap game. It was clear that he was serious about this new career path, and faking his death, apart from the fundraiser scam, was little more than a publicity stunt to promote his new song, R.I.P. Frito. Although this may seem odd at first, making a public spectacle of yourself to promote your music is actually a pretty common strategy in hip-hop, utilized successfully by rappers such as Tekashi 6ix9ine, and would be attempted again by Gaston several times over in his career. The concept is sound in theory. In the digital age, generally all attention, even negative attention, is a good thing if you're looking to gain relevance. Music, unlike many other professions, is almost exclusively a numbers game, and attention draws numbers on all platforms. Public opinion of you doesn't matter as much, and as long as you pull numbers, you'll be successful. 6ix9ine understood this concept well. Between his rainbow hair, his clothing line, and his controversial lyrics, he was always garnering social media attention and subsequently drawing in numbers for his music. Gaston discovered this concept back when he was making Minecraft videos, realizing that the more controversy he wrapped himself in, the more relevant his name would become. But even 6ix9ine knew when he'd gone far enough, as he testified in court against his former gang members in a racketeering case in exchange for a reduced sentence. This, however, is not the case with Gaston McWhinney, whose behavioral history has shown repeatedly that he's willing to do anything for attention and a little bit of money, and lacks the judgment to know when to stop. Unfortunately for Gaston, his Minecraft subscribers did not much care for his new musical content, and with the poor performance of his early music, he knew he had to do more. On March 31st, 2019, Nipsey Hussle, a beloved community activist and Grammy-nominated rapper, was tragically shot and killed in the Los Angeles area. Immediately after this happened, Gaston proclaimed publicly on social media that he was the killer.
Fuck Nipsey Hussle, nigga. Shot that dumb boy. I'm not playing about none of that shit. I seen him in front of All Money Is store. Seen him with his daughter. I shot him. I was like, hey, where you from? He was like, I'm from 60. I said, all right, GBO, shot him. Got loose. I'm on the E-way right now doing the dash. I got away from the car seat.
So you telling me and everybody else on this motherfucking line that you shot Nipsey Hussle?
I shot Nipsey Hussle. Gaston McWinnie, I shot Nipsey Hussle. Come get me. I shot him.
The whole neighborhood car gonna be on your bitch ass.
Hey, nigga, GBO.
What you talking
I got away with murder. Get the fuck out of here.
Fool, watch when they catch you, fool. Watch when I catch you, fool. It's over, bro.
You're not gonna catch me, nigga.
Watch when I catch cuz, fool. On the dead homies.
He continued to extensively diss Nipsey post-mortem on Instagram Live and would go on to upload several videos documenting himself throwing urine at a mural dedicated to his passing.
Finna throw piss on cuz on the dead homies, cuz look. Piss on cuz.
And even locating his grave, recording himself spitting on it and dancing over his body.
Niggas know where this is at, right? Exactly. In my blur at cuz grave, nigga. Fuck cuz.
Although the real killer was later identified as 29-year-old Eric Holder, Gaston's extremely disrespectful actions still generated a lot of attention, which is exactly what he wanted. Once again, people knew who Gaston was, but also once again, he ended up catching more heat than he wanted. Nipsey Hussle was a beloved member of the Los Angeles community, and eventually some of his followers were able to locate Gaston and confront him in person outside his own residence.
Why you diss Nipsey, nigga? To be honest, what?
I just want attention.
You diss the gang of niggas I know, my nigga. That's the piece of all them niggas. Say sorry, bro.
I'm sorry for all my sins.
Yeah, nigga. Weird ass nigga. Fuck your weird ass up. I don't give a fuck, nigga. Don't do that shit no more, bro.
I promise I won't.
Yeah, what's your name though? Gaston, right?
Yeah.
You was one of them weak ass niggas from Long Beach?
Yeah, I was just a nerd, bro.
Lakewood, whatever.
I just want to take. I want to be like y'all.
Weird ass nigga.
My fault, bro.
Clown. Apologize again before I spit on you, nigga.
I'm sorry for dissing all the day.
Say Nipsey, bro.
I'm sorry for dissing Nipsey.
Nipsey Hussle, homie.
I'm sorry for dissing Nipsey Hussle. I'm sorry about that.
Yes, instead of standing his ground and acting like he claimed he would in his videos, he just straight up apologized for being disrespectful and admitting that he only did it for attention and was ultimately let off the hook. Most people in this situation would consider themselves extremely lucky given the context of the interaction, but not Gaston McWinnie. He'd gotten a taste of the relevance he craved and knew he needed to do more. In order to draw more attention to himself, Gaston resorted to traveling to various hoods in the Los Angeles area and recorded videos of himself dissing and calling out the associated gangs. This, of course, is an incredibly stupid idea, but it did bring him lots of attention. Obviously, he recorded himself urinating on gang members' front doors, mocking people who'd been shot and paralyzed.
You're walking, right? Look. Who am I? I can't walk because your bitch ass boy got shot. You got fuck silence all his day, homie. Look.
And even live streamed himself firing a gun at another rapper trying to instigate a shootout.
He shot and he missed.
All in all, he dissed and started beef with pretty much every gang in the Los Angeles area, including but not limited to BHWB, 2NGC, Inglewood NHP, 2BC, IGC, Mob, Rolling 40s through 90s Crips, and the entire NHC card. Although the primary motivation for engaging in such senseless behavior was to promote his music, Gaston also wanted to reinforce his rebranded image as a dangerous street thug. And while he certainly drew a lot of attention to himself, he found less success with the latter. Basically, nobody took him seriously. Here he is pretending to be the target of a drive-by shooting.
Most of that they just would have been there in the grave, man. But you see me still walking, look. Catch me walking, look.
The reason I say pretending is because there's only one bullet hole in his car. If somebody really wanted him dead, I have a hard time believing they would only fire a single shot, miss, and then give up. You know the only person I've ever seen do a drive-by and only shoot once?
He shot and he missed.
Yeah, sound familiar? Once again, the cracks in his reputation started to show. People saw him for what he was, and initially he was largely ignored by these gangs and experienced very little conflict. But Gaston is nothing if not a persistent man, and although his ridiculous antics were obviously little more than a publicity stunt, the disrespect he exhibited would not go overlooked. A big reason why he had not already been killed was the fact that he didn't actually live in LA. He lived in Lakewood, a relatively nice suburban community outside the city, which kept him safe from most of the dangerous neighborhoods he supposedly wanted beef with. But But eventually, Gaston would end up having to answer for running his mouth when members of the Eastside Mob Pyru took it upon themselves to take the trip out to Lakewood and found Gaston sitting in traffic.
Hop out. You like a bitch right now. Hop out. Let me get your rolling, nigga. Hop out. Hop out. Fuck GBO, nigga. Come here. Fuck GBO, nigga. Fuck GBO. You a bitch, nigga.
Rather than getting out to fight them, like he said he would so adamantly, he refused to leave the safety of his car.
He's wearing a mask in his car. I mean, how socially responsible? They want him to get out, but he's like, nah, man, we in a pandemic. We gotta stay 6 feet away. See, Gaston is a gangster, but he also cares about the health of old people.
They instead followed him home and destroyed his car, smashing his windows and slashing his tires. And while all of this happened, rather than handling things himself like he claimed he would, Gaston hid inside watching and called the police.
Why did you run? Where you at? Come back right now. Why did you run? Come back. Why did you run though?
What a snitch. I mean, this dude is a cop. And if you think about it, he just goes to bad neighborhoods waiting for bad shit to happen, just like a cop would.
Once again, he had built a reputation, not as an authentic street-hardened rapper, but as an internet troll and a poser, all while risking his life to do so. Was it all worth it? Judging by the continually poor performance of his music, definitely not. For a bit, it started to seem like Gaston had finally learned his lesson and begun to mellow out his behavior. But as we've seen time and time again, this is never the case. And at this point, the story of Gaston McWhinney becomes a lot more sinister. Apart from fame, Gaston has also been shown to do just about anything for a little bit of money. In the past, he was willing to degrade himself for donations as little as $5, all to afford a better setup to play Minecraft with. The lack of self-respect he demonstrates is honestly pretty depressing. And when it became clear his music wasn't making any money, he resorted to similar methods. And the more desperate he got, the more unhinged his actions became. Gaston crossed paths with a group of people online who I am not investigating, nor do I want to be involved with, who not only understood this, but took advantage of it. They raised the stakes, paying him money to do progressively more degrading things to himself on camera for them, such as drinking water directly out of a toilet.
Money is obviously no object to these people who do fraud. You know, they might have hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, doesn't even matter. It's nothing to them. So they would just suggest that he does like gnarly things, and most of the time illegal things, you know, as such as robbing people, getting in fights, bricking homes, which is throwing a brick through windows for money, randomly just for content. And he'd get paid thousands of dollars per act he did, and he'd be down to do almost anything.
But make no mistake, Gaston participated in these challenges willingly, desperate for the attention and a little bit of cash. Eventually, things escalated when Gaston was paid to light a police car on fire that was parked in front of an apartment complex. The car ended up exploding and damaging the apartment building, and although a search was conducted, he was never caught. Gaston continued to work with these people, which once again, I am not looking into and do not want to be involved with. Moving on. Gaston ended up making a decent amount of money and things began looking up for him. He posted several photos on social media showcasing his life in an upscale apartment, driving a brand new Corvette and wearing diamond chains and other expensive jewelry. How do I know this is where he made his money? Because let's be real, he wasn't making anything off his music. This, however, was short-lived, and things began to go downhill when Gaston McWhinney was arrested after stealing a car in Los Angeles. As to why he did this, I honestly have no idea. During the investigation, the police confiscated his car, his apartment, and even his GBO diamond chain. This, however, was not the worst part, as Gaston would be sentenced to 6 months in Los Angeles County Jail, forcing him to come face-to-face with many of the gangs he had previously disrespected, and without the protection of living in an upscale suburban community. And judging by his change in appearance when released, he obviously did not fare well for himself. But it was still not over for Gaston, as he would be jumped again, this time in his own home. Looking worse for wear, and with nothing left to his name, Gaston moved into his mom's living room and came back to the only thing he still had, his original YouTube channel, where he'd gotten addicted to chasing fame in Minecraft all those years ago. After being absent from social media for so long, Gaston knew he had to do something big to recapture his audience. And if we've learned anything by now, it's that he will do whatever it takes to get attention. What he resorted to, however, nobody saw coming. He began live streaming, but instead of streaming Minecraft like before, he streamed himself looking for prostitutes in the area and begging his viewers for money in order to pay them.
Hey, alright, bro. Alright, send half right now so she can come, bro. You say got me 500 for live right now. Bro, send half so she can come, bro. Yo, can someone send an Uber, bro? She send me the address. I need an Uber, bro. I got some clean up, bro.
Wait, how do I hide the fucking lights? Yo, how do you turn off the webcam light, bro? How do you turn off the webcam light, bro? It's showing, bro. How to turn off webcam lights. I gotta cover the fucking. I gotta find some tape real quick so I can cover the white part on the camera. Can you send the Uber, bro? Like, I'm trying to get her to come right now. And I'm about to put tape over the camera, bro, and hide it.
You're going to jail.
What are you talking about? It's almost gone. I'm coloring it in. This should actually work. Bro, I gotta turn the monitor.
He then paid an escort to come to his mom's living room and secretly recorded her having sex with him without her consent and streamed that footage live on YouTube. Dude, this is so many levels of illegal. From purchasing an escort, to recording her secretly, to distributing that footage on the internet, not to mention the violations of YouTube's content guidelines. The craziest part, he got away with it. And people noticed. It's not every day someone is dumb enough to try and pull something like this on YouTube. For the first time in a while, Gaston had gotten some of the attention he desperately craved. But this was not enough for him, as the very next day, he did the exact same thing. He claimed that from now on, he planned on doing this daily since it had brought him so many new viewers.
Alright, y'all stay tuned for more streams, bro. Join back every day. About to do this every day, bro. Oh, God.
Now, I am by no means a YouTube expert, but personally, trying to build and monetize an audience by streaming yourself partaking in illegal activities that also violate the terms of service on the website you're hoping to make money from does not seem like an ideal business model. But what do I know? Gaston McWhinney is an entrepreneur and a visionary, and I am not. YouTube, however, had other plans, and his channel was terminated the next day live on stream.
Oh, this is the one I'm calling right now. I'm gonna show y'all.
His prized YouTube channel, his one final possession, where he had started this insane journey so long ago, was now gone. It was the end of an era, but this story is far from over. Shortly after, his family was evicted from their apartment and subsequently sued in court. It's unclear whether this was related to Gaston literally filming himself with a prostitute on the property, however the two events were relatively close in proximity. I'm mostly mentioning this because losing everything and hitting rock bottom can impact people differently. But what came next? Nobody could have predicted. On March 14th, 2024, the El Segundo Police Department publicized a press release in which they detailed how multiple armed gunmen had broken into a hotel and held a woman hostage at gunpoint while robbing her. The suspects then later barricaded themselves in an apartment, refusing to surrender, prompting an evacuation of the area. Eventually, with the assistance of multiple SWAT teams and federal agents from the DEA, they were remanded to custody. Two suspects were identified: 23-year-old George Young and none other than 24-year-old Minecraft YouTuber turned prolific rapper Gaston McWhinney.
For what you did or did not do. Because what if these other dudes are telling us, hey, Gaston, he's the one that took all this stuff. We just heard the guy pull up in the driveway. He was a security guard, and we just boned out, and then all of a sudden the bird was overhead, the chopper with the spotlight out, and we were just running through bushes.
Gaston McWhinney was initially booked at the West Valley Detention Center on March 11th, 2024. However, it seemed he'd learned his lesson from his previous experience in county jail, as he reportedly acted mentally insane in order to be housed at the Twin Towers Correctional Facility, a mental asylum rather than general population custody. This, of course, was in spite of his claims online that he, in his own words, had fades lined up for everyone in county.
When I hit the county, I'ma run my fades. I'm trying to bang it out with everybody.
Yeah, I get that, but you can't bang it out in the county, bro. You don't have no weapons. I mean,
On the
you have
dead
weapons,
homie,
but you don't have no
I'm never
guns.
shank, cuz you can bang it out in the county.
All right, let's be realistic now. How many gang members do you think is in the Los Angeles County Jail?
Nigga, I don't give a fuck if it's a million gang members in Los Angeles County. I have hands. I have two hands. Where the fuck is my life in danger at?
So you think you're gonna be able to take on a group of men? Like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm even worried for you, bro. Like, I'm scared for you.
No, you shouldn't be worried about me. You should be worried about the ops.
Eventually, he was released on bail, which totaled around $500,000. This finally brings us to present day, and while Gaston is not in prison and is sometimes still active on social media, he is by no means a free man. He's on a $500,000 bond and awaits an upcoming trial where he will face several felony charges, including first-degree burglary, first-degree robbery, home invasion, kidnapping, as well as various probationary violations. Although he's not been sentenced yet, Given the charges lobbied against him, we can do some simple math. Burglary, robbery, and home invasion charges range anywhere between 10 to 35 years when combined. Although it's unlikely Gaston would receive the maximum punishment for these charges, he would still be subject to the California 3-strike law, which comes into effect when a person receives 3 or more felony charges and defaults to a minimum sentence of 25 years. Gaston already has multiple prior felony charges. The final charge, however, kidnapping to commit another crime, also known as aggravated kidnapping, has a default sentence in the state of California of life in prison. Nothing is certain, and the trial hasn't happened yet, but given these charges, as well as his other charges for possession of controlled narcotics, driving under the influence on a suspended license or on parole, and whatever else he's being investigated for, it is likely Gaston will have to serve anywhere between 35 years to life in prison. I ask again, was it all worth it, and is this finally the end? When taken at face value, this seems like an individual clout-driven beyond reason with little regard for anything more than his own personal fame. However, there is more to Gaston McWhinney that offers a different perspective. His college applications tell the story of an academically driven student, passionate about reading and photography, and looking to further his education. He talks about his family's struggles with homelessness while he was in high school, having nowhere to sleep for around half a year. In no way am I saying this excuses his actions later on in life. That's just not how it works. Everyone has the opportunity to make their own choices, and he made some very poor choices which ended up hurting a lot of people. But even so, all variables should be considered when forming an opinion. Even from his early days in the Minecraft community, Gaston followed a repetitive pattern of behavior, one that would stay with him for the rest of his life. He would demonstrate the willingness to do anything, and I mean anything, for attention, often seeking out controversy and welcoming confrontation. Eventually, he would catch more heat than he asked for, apologizing and claiming he'd learned his lesson, only to do the exact same thing when the next opportunity presented itself. He was seen on numerous occasions apologizing to people in the Minecraft community for how his actions impacted them, only to continue to mistreat them later on. He's documented apologizing when confronted by those he disrespected in the Los Angeles community, only to continue filming increasingly disrespectful videos shortly after. He followed this behavioral pattern in the pursuit of fame until eventually it ruined his life. Once again, I pose the question of whether or not it was all worth it. In retrospect, he ended up gaining a fair bit of attention. There is a lot of footage of this guy on the internet, and I might be the only person who's seen pretty much all of it. But when looking at the numbers on his music, it's obvious this never translated and his career as a rapper was a bust. So, what went wrong? Well, this could be attributed to the fact that he became known as an internet troll and nobody took him seriously. Or it could just be that his music, isn't very good. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be offensive or anything. And I did listen to a lot of his music, but it wasn't by choice, and I didn't listen to all of it because I don't really want to. I don't know. I do respect the guy for being so passionate about something and being willing to do anything to pursue his dreams. In his high school essays, he talks about always giving 100% effort in everything he does, and his belief that with enough motivation, anything can be accomplished. And my God, does he live up to this reputation, literally going to the ends of the earth to promote his music. But you've got to know where to draw the line. Earlier, I compared him to 6ix9ine because they had a similar approach to gaining relevance. But today, 6ix9ine is viewed as a successful artist, and although many people don't agree with his actions or even like his music, his career is undeniable. And more importantly, he's a free man.
How does it feel to be the richest rat in the world?
I mean, it feels pretty good. I mean, I put a lot of bad people away. I saved the world. I'm like Batman at this point.
Gaston McWhinney may have some relevance. After all, I'm talking about him today. But it came at the cost of his life. He faces at least a 35-year prison sentence, and where he will spend the rest of his life now lies in the hands of the court. And the truth is, whether in prison or on the streets, he'll have to face his demons at some point. He's disrespected too many people and made too many enemies to survive in prison, and he clearly understands this. And even if he somehow evades the law in court, it is evident that he's still not safe, even in his own home. He's backed himself into a corner and is now having to answer for everything he's done, both in terms of the law as well as those he's disrespected. It's an unfortunate situation, but this all comes as an accumulation of his actions over the years, which again, were his own choice. As everyone eventually finds out, your actions have consequences. And although he's largely been able to escape these consequences up to this point, you can only play with fire for so long. His extreme persistence, combined with his apparent lack of self-respect and inability to judge when things have gone too far, created a perfect storm that spiraled out of control and led him to perform such extreme and violent acts. It is really insane to think about how this guy twerking on stream to afford a better Minecraft setup would soon go on to take hostages and explode police cars. That this guy pretending to be raided by SWAT in his room would soon be apprehended by a real SWAT team and have to face the consequences. What once could have been an inspiring story now only serves as a testament to the the addictive nature of fame and how it can drive people beyond reason. So, what happens next? Well, assuming he's only sentenced to 35 years in prison, Gaston McWhinney will be in his 60s when he is released. Will this finally be the wake-up call he needs? Will this finally be enough to knock some sense into him? Or will he just go back to his old ways like we've seen him do time and time again? What will Gaston McWhinney do next? Honestly, who knows? I started researching his story almost 2 years ago when I thought it was already over, when he'd already been through more altercations than most people have in their entire lifetime. But every time I thought he'd finally learned his lesson, that he'd apologized for the last time, he came back, more ridiculous than ever, blowing my expectations way out of the water. So yeah, I have literally no idea. Maybe he gets out of prison as a 60-year-old and goes straight back to the hood, dissing whatever gang still exists in the year 2060. Honestly, it would not surprise me in the slightest.
You should go to Iraq and be like, hey ISIS, fuck you, I'm in your territory. What you gonna do? I'm pissing on Ahmed McTeabag's grave. Or better yet, go to North Korea, sneak through the border, get a visa and just be like, fuck Kim Jong-un. Take it even further, discover aliens and be like, y'all aliens ain't got shit on GBO. I mean, you'd probably get 1 million views.
But regardless of what happens next, his story will stand as one of the most interesting the internet has ever seen. And that is why I'm making this video in the first place. To be extra clear, I don't hate the guy by any means, but I think there is something to learn from his story. That being the best way to get famous is to just stay authentic to your true self. And that's where I think Gaston went wrong. Ignoring how unhealthy his obsession with fame was and the lengths it pushed him to, I do believe he could have achieved it. He's not without talent. He certainly has an unrivaled ability to start beef with literally everyone he crosses paths with. But Gaston is a funny guy, and that's undeniable. Sure, his personality and actions are polarizing, but even in the comments of videos about him, people can still recognize his humor. In fact, that's why he gained an initial following, all the way back in the Minecraft community. He got caught up in controversy, sure, but people still saw him as a funny person. That's you, Gaston. Stay authentic to this. Not whatever this is. Like, come on, bro, what are we doing? Look at top streamers like iShowSpeed, XQC, Kai Cenat, who stream whatever they want and still grow a following just by being themselves, by being entertaining. Gaston McWhinney is an entertainer. Maybe this isn't the image he wanted, but it's what he's good at, and that's how he could have gotten the fame he was so desperate for. Maybe not to the same level, but I genuinely believe that could have worked for him. But he couldn't see this, and instead he spent his life chasing fame, trying to be someone else. And maybe that's why he took it so far. Why he felt like he had to go bigger. Why he felt like he had something to prove. Because he felt like he had to convince people he's someone he isn't. If you take anything from the story, I think it should be this. No amount of clout or fame is worth compromising who you are as a person. Gaston prioritized being famous over being his true self, and it ended up costing him his life. If given the opportunity, and with the benefit of hindsight, I bet he'd be willing to give up all the fame he acquired for the chance to start over and do things differently. But then again, what do I know? If I've learned anything from this, it's that the Minecraft community will never cease to amaze me with the people that come out of it. It's just a universal occurrence, and I don't think I'll ever understand it.
She claims that he got with her when she was like 15 years old and he was like 20. According to her, I met GBO when I was 15. He told me he was 19 years old. He was really 21 at the time and having intercourse with a minor for years. And the girl dad like broke into the home and fucked him up for being with the girl.
The bitch dad walked in and just fired on me randomly.
After she posted his address, he's now on Instagram begging her to come back. Why you leave me like this? You know argument's supposed to be between us.
Like, you're painting the picture of what a day-to-day in his life would have been. Is like, so you wake up in the morning, you go over to a famous hood and you try to make fun of some dead ops, not GBO. And then you're saying that he was with 15-year-olds after that? That's quite a day. What the f is taking everybody so long? Bro, they killed Block Boy. It took him like 2 months. What the f is taking so long with this kid? Hurry the f up.
The question is, how do y'all see this ending for GBO Gaston?
You know how I want to see that.
Not good.
Yeah.
It's that